What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, do I have a real treat for you, especially if you're into feeling good, looking good. Tracy Duhs in the house. Welcome, Tracy.
Hey.
Folks, if you guys don't know who she is, you better look her up. Tracy Duhs, that's spelled D-U-H-S. Follow her on Instagram right now at Tracy Duhs on Instagram. And make sure that you pay attention. Grab a notebook, because this girl is a wealth of knowledge. Now, do you have a PhD or you just went for one?
No, I have a PhD.
So you're actually you have a PhD in
Integrative medicine.
Integrative medicine. So you're smart, you're freaking rich, you got freaking shopping centers, you're an entrepreneur, you got several businesses, but more importantly, you specialize in modern wellness, making people feel good, look good, vitality.
That's right. Activate vitality.
Yeah, she's got a book coming out, by the way. You guys can go pre-order it, called Hydrate. And she's also got her own podcast, Hydrate, as well.
Yep.
With Tracy Duhs. Now, on your website, it says, do it like Tracy does, but it's not does.
Right. Well, it's just a play on words, right?
I know, but...
Because a lot of people think my name is Does, because it phonetically looks that way.
Yeah. So... do it like Tracy does, and then they find out it's Duhs. So
yeah.
Why not just put Duhs it like Tracy Duhs?
I don't know.
That's how I Duhs it.
Really? That's how you do it?
So Hydrate podcast, it's been out for a little while. I heard a couple of episodes. You're talking all kinds of people. How's that going?
I love it. I am having so much fun. I wasn't thinking I ever wanted to start a podcast, but I've been shadowing doctors for the last 15 years, traveling around the world, meeting some of the most amazing doctors that are pioneering medicine, and I thought, I have all this information in my head and it's so selfish not to share it. So I'm like, I'm going to start a podcast where I can get this information out, do some solo podcasts, and also interview these doctors so that everyone can hear.
And everybody that like knows you knows that you cook, you're like a chef, healthy chef.
I love to cook. Love it. I call my kitchen my lab. I make a lot of elixirs in my lab, which are high vibrational drinks that don't have any alcohol in them, but make you feel good and look good.
Like alcohol?
Better than alcohol, because you feel good in the moment and you feel amazing after.
Interesting. So at 15 years old, like you were smart as a kid, yeah? Let's go back.
Okay.
You're 15 years old. You're already, out of high school?
Yeah, I graduated high school. I started college.
At 15?
15.
Now, how'd that feel? Was you walking around? Was there any pervs at the campus trying to get with you?
I mean, yeah, I had some groupie guys hanging out with me, but I was 15. I didn't understand. I thought they were just my friends. And my dad used to drop me off at college. People used to make fun of me because they'd be like, your dad has to drop you off because I didn't have a driver's license.
Your dad was a preacher?
My dad is a preacher.
Still?
Yeah.
What denomination?
Non-denominational.
Just praise Jesus type?
That's right. Praise Jesus.
I want you to ask your dad why they call him Jesus. We should call him on the phone.
Okay.
This has been a pressing
Get him
thing
on the
for
phone
me.
right now.
We can. if he, because his name's not Jesus, you know that, right?
Yeshua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his name.
Right.
So everyone calls him Jesus, and I don't know why. A lot of people say translation. I think if I talk to someone that really studied it, I think it's obviously not going to hurt anybody. They don't know any better. But one of the scriptures says, my children will know my name.
Yeah.
And that's not his name.
Yeah, but you're looking at the words, the intent behind it, the vibration.
That's not what the scripture
behind your
says.
Intent.
It's not what the scripture says.
So
Scripture says my children will know my name. They won't say they'll have the intent. It doesn't say it'll have the vibration. He says my children will know my name. Now,
yes, but the name is many names. There are many names that he was called by. So
but what's his name?
Well, he was named Yeshua.
That's right. That's his name. So you're one of his children.
Absolutely, I am.
Well, you know his name. People have to know his name. Now, that's just my argument. We'll talk to your dad. You're 15 years old. You're walking around a university.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
Oh gosh, you're taking me back. I didn't really think much about it, to be honest.
Did you know you were smarter than everybody? Everybody was drinking, trying to have parties. You weren't.
No.
You were a preacher's daughter.
No,
Good girl.
I actually started, when I started college, most people start with 12 to 18 units. And I went to the dean of the school and said, I want to start with 21 units. So, looking back, I was just so driven and so motivated that I didn't really have anything else in my bandwidth. I wasn't thinking about anything else except my focus.
Why? What made you that way?
I think growing up, my father was a pastor. I was in a missionary home, and we grew up with very minimal. We didn't have a lot in our home, but we had a lot of love. And I remember watching TV as a little girl and just thinking it was so different, the lifestyle that people lived on TV, the big houses and being able to go out to dinner and the social parties. And my life was not like that. And so I just got excited and I thought, I want to create that for myself. And it inspired me. And I always wanted to help people because I had a heart for people that were sick and hurting. And so I thought, okay, what's the way I can be successful and also help people at the same time? And it was be a doctor. So I just thought, okay, well, how can I do this the fastest? What's the fastest track to becoming that?
So let's talk about water for a minute, because obviously you're all about hydration.
Yes.
You have Hydrate podcast, the book Hydrate coming out. What's the big deal about water?
Oh gosh, Brad, our body is made out of 98.9% water molecules. So that's almost all of who we are. And everything affects those molecules. Water is the source receiver of everything it comes in contact with. So the words you say, the thoughts you think, the environment you're in is all impacting those water molecules. And so I thought, this is hydrate life, hydrate lifestyle. It's not just about drinking water. It's everything we do.
Well, is there scientific research that shows all of this environmental noise, let's say, is imprinted on a water molecule?
Well, there's a lot of research. That's a wonderful question, because there's a lot of research that is actually, in the past, we would look at it and say, oh, that research isn't sufficient. But now there's new research coming out, and water is really, you're going to be looking at water in the next 5 years, and there's going to be so much research and so much information on it that just start to get excited, because all I can say is I'm a part of a lot of water coalitions and scientists, and there's people literally water conferences where people meet, just some of the biggest scientists in the world come together to talk about water and how it's imprinted and all of the aspects of water.
Now, the waters that are on the market right now, out of all of them, which one do you think people should be drinking and staying away from?
Okay, so that's a loaded question, but I really believe that, yes. So if you're at the grocery store right now and you are looking down the aisles, I would say the best choice is to pick mountain spring water or some sort of artesian water that is in a glass water bottle.
Now, why glass? Just because of the contaminants of plastic?
Yeah, I mean, water is the biggest solvent there is on the planet, so if it's in a plastic container, it's going to be absorbing that.
Now, what if you're rich? What would you go get?
Well,
the Russian deuterium-free?
Yeah, I mean, I have deuterium-depleted water shipped in from Russia, and that's what I drink.
Speaking of which, when anybody flies on an airplane, they make you chuck your water. Yeah. Somehow you're allowed to bring your water. Yeah, what's the hack? What's the life hack?
Well, I just tell them I'm a doctor and this is medical. And then they
What do they say?
Okay. And then they just test it and they let me bring it.
That's it?
Yeah.
So if everyone just wants to bring their water with them, all they have to say is it's medical?
Yeah. And then they have to test it.
What do they test it with?
I don't know. They use this little swab. I don't know how they do their testing.
They just make sure it's water?
Mm-hmm.
But when you say it's medical, they have to let you bring it?
Yes.
Interesting. So we were talking last time you were here with our boy, Coach Burt.
Yeah, Coach Burt. Love Coach Burt.
And that's what made me want to have you on the show, is because we got to talking about the imprinting of water. Yeah. And to me, I believe in that shit. I'm just wondering if there's scientific evidence, no?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of people doing research, like my good friend Dr. Gerald Pollack. He is researching a lot of this, but he's a mentor of mine, and what he would say is that you look at scientists and scientism, and a lot of the things that don't make money aren't funded, right? So a lot of scientists like him that wants to do research on water and is doing research, there's not a lot of funding behind it. He has to find private funding because not a lot of big companies find any reason why they would want to support his research.
And it's pretty important stuff. I mean, you're sold on the value of drinking the right kind of water.
I am.
And hydrating your body.
I am, but hydration goes far beyond the water that we drink, because it's our cells make metabolic water, right? And so we need to make sure our mitochondria are healthy, our cells are healthy. We need to make sure that there's a balance between the minerals in our fluids, of our intracellular fluids and extracellular fluids. We need to make sure we're getting enough sunlight to activate our mitochondria, charging, taking our shoes off and grounding our feet to the earth, getting the right amount of sleep, moving so that all of that hydration gets into the tissue and moves throughout the body, get your joints juicy. There's so much to hydration.
Why do you want your joints juicy?
Oh, you want juicy joints, Brad. You don't want stiff joints.
Well, you were saying that the cells in our body obviously communicate. So
Yep.
when you dump in this water, if it's got imprints from the negative environment people are in, technically it affects you at the cellular level.
Absolutely, it affects you.
So as soon as you drink,
Messaging, it's signaling your cells. It's sending a signal to your cells, a story, a message.
yeah, and if that story is, like been in a bottle for 20 years.
Yeah, sitting still. Water should not sit still. You go down the grocery store aisle and it's like still or gas water. I'm like, still, that's like the worst word for water. Water wants to be moving. It wants to be vortexing. You look at water in nature and it's moving and vortexing. If you look at a still body of water, you don't want to get anywhere near that, right? Bacteria, viruses, fungus, everything starts to grow in it because it's sitting still.
Yeah, so you want your water moving.
I want moving water.
Now, if I turn on the faucet, not that I drink out of the faucet, but some people do. If I turn on the faucet, that water's moving.
Yeah.
What's the difference between that and a vortex?
Oh, it's completely different. It's going through these pipes that are at these angles, like straight right angles, and that's not the way water wants to move. That's why if your water's off, if your water's off for a while and you haven't turned it on, you turn it on, it starts to go pop, 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 pop right through the pipe because it's angry. It's like, this is not the way water is supposed to be.
So does water have feelings?
I don't know if it has feelings. That wouldn't go that far to say it has feelings.
You just said it's angry.
It's imprinted, it's been traumatized.
Now at 15, you're going to college. Then you started following this doctor around Guatemala or something, some missionary doctor.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to go to an indigenous village when I was 15 and shadow a doctor for a summer in Guatemala. And he was the local doctor there that donated a year of his time. And so we could only take 19 patients a day. And we did everything from cutting cancer out of a 9-year-old little girl to delivering babies, giving vaccinations. And I got to do it all with him that summer, and it was the most incredible experience.
So you got married. How old were you when you got married?
24.
And then you had Grace.
Grace, yeah.
And?
Parker.
And Grace was diagnosed with something?
Yeah, so when Grace was 2.5 years old, I was brushing her hair one day, and I noticed that there was a huge chunk of hair missing. It was like probably like 3/4 size in her head. And I took her to the doctor and they said, "Oh, you must be putting your hair ties in too tight." And over the course of the next couple of months, she went completely bald.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we started doing more panels and taking her to every doctor we could, and we found out that she had high levels of mercury in her system, and she had just had her vaccinations, and
It's probably from that.
her body wasn't able to methylate. So yeah, the thimerosal is something that is used to preserve vaccinations, and many people's bodies can methylate and move it through, and her body didn't do that as efficiently, and it affected her immune system, and then she came with she has autoimmune alopecia.
Now, alopecia, that's where you technically go bald.
Yeah.
You know, one time, do you believe in essential oils?
Yeah, I like essential oils.
Yeah, because one time I got real, let's say, anxious.
Yeah.
I don't know if anxious is a good word. It was almost like an anxiety attack,
Okay.
which I don't know what that is because I've never had one, except for if there was such a thing. I had one over this one issue, and the next day I had about a quarter size,
Okay.
perfectly bald part right there.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it was like unbelievable. It was just perfectly smooth.
Circle. Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, went to a doctor. They said it's alopecia.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, so how do you fix it? They said, you don't.
You don't, right? You live with it forever.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. You see a bald spot there?
Nope.
That's because my wife, who you just met, was into these essential oils. And you mix them up and all these different kinds. She said, let me put some oil on your head.
Yeah.
I said, shut up. That's not going to do anything.
Is that what you said to her? Shut up.
Well, I said, no, babe. The doctor said point blank, there's no cure for it. Your oils aren't going to do anything. So every night I'm watching TV, she'd come up with these
Oh,
little
that's
oils and go,
sweet.
doot, doot, doot. And now look.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, I'm not sure it was the essential oils. I think you said that you were in a state of trauma, or
Oh, yeah.
your body was going through something, and then it sounds like you recovered from it, though.
Yeah.
You know, your immune system regulated itself, and then your hair grew back.
So is alopecia something that can come and go?
It is, yes.
Interesting. How's your daughter now? How long's it been?
She was 2 when that happened, and she's 15 now, and she still has alopecia. She's healed quite a bit, though, because before, when she was first diagnosed, she had Hashimoto's thyroid, she had adrenal fatigue, really dark circles under her eyes, and now she's top of her class, MVP in sports, really healthy, doing well. It's just the hair, we haven't gotten that back yet. It's frustrating because it's like every test we do, everything comes back really amazing. Her tests or panels are always awesome. So it's not something in the biochemistry. I feel like it's something, the story that's in the molecules that's being held in the body. Whenever we have emotional trauma, or we're thinking something, our body stores that information. Just like the cells of your cell phone store information, the molecules of water in our body store information. And they can store up to 1 billion times more information than the cells in your cell phone can, because oxygen has different potentials. Like, you know, if you look at basic chemistry, you can go from positive, -2, -1, 0, +1, +2. So there's 5 different potentials for oxygen. And that can, just like your cell phone has zeros and ones, and that's what's holding the information, the oxygen has 5 different potentials. So it can hold so much more information. And so we need to be really mindful. It can help us to be mindful of the thoughts we're thinking, the words that we're saying, because that's imprinting our molecules all the time, and it's feeding that information into our body. And we store that, we hold that.
Did she help you or cause you to look more into health and wellness and that type of thing?
Yes. So like we had talked about, when I was 15, I started college and I went into pre-med and I shadowed the doctor doing surgery. I was doing the whole allopathic route. And there was something inside of me. By the time I turned 17, I just felt this dissonance where I didn't feel completely on board with the allopathic route. And it didn't feel like it was resonating with me anymore, because I realized I really want to help people, but not by cutting them open, not by giving them shots, not by prescribing medication. And when my daughter got sick, and the Western medical doctors were telling me that there was nothing we could do, that she needed to live with it for the rest of her life, I thought, no is never an answer. There is always hope. And if I have to spend the rest of my life searching for what that answer is, I will do it. And so that's what I did. I was like, I'm going to go back to school. I want to learn about the body from a different perspective. And I want to learn about it from a holistic perspective. And so I went to school to learn how to become a living food chef. I went to herbal school. I learned about homeopathics. I mean, I just kept going. And through that journey, you know, also taking her to doctors all around the world the last 15 years, been traveling with her around the world, seeing some of the top doctors and trying to understand how we can get her better. And so I've learned so much. I mean, her story, her alopecia has although it's difficult and it's hard, there's so much beauty in it as well for both of us.
Does she drink Vortex water?
Oh yeah, she drinks Vortex water.
So you have her all dialed in.
Oh yeah, she's doing the Quinton, the Vortex water, and like I said, she's really healthy. It's just there's something, I really feel that there's something being held inside of her body that it's going to move through when it's time, when it's ready to, when she's ready to let it go, when she's ready to release whatever needs to be released, she's going to find her healing.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Ghosts? I believe in spirits. I believe we're in a spiritual world.
Do you, well, let me go back because I'll forget if I start heading down
Okay.
dumb paths. So the Vortex water, if I just dump my water out of the tap, out of the bottle, through the Vortex, does that kind of recharge it? Does it reset it?
So remember how we talked about water holds and stores information?
Yeah.
When you pour it through the Vortex, it's deleting the information that's in there, and it's re-informing the water. And the one that I like to use uses sacred geometry, Fibonacci sacred geometry, and it's sending that information of the living code, life. So it's reinforming it. So now when I drink the water, my body is getting that message that this is living water.
And what's it do?
What does the living water do?
Yeah, like let's say I buy a Vortex, which I'm going to. Let's say I buy a Vortex and the only water I drink is out of the Vortex. Does it start to do anything to my body?
Yeah, you're going to notice, most people notice that they urinate more afterwards for the first 2 weeks because the body really starts to detoxify, and it's helping to get the cells more hydrated so that there's that balance between the intracellular and extracellular fluid. And whereas if you're drinking water that's just filtered water, I would say anybody that's drinking filtered water, stop that right now. You need water that has minerals in it in order for your body to be hydrated. In order for that water to penetrate the cell wall effectively, it needs minerals, and you need the minerals to be in balance. And so in order to pour water through the vortexer, you have to have a crystalline structure in order to restructure the water. And that crystalline structure is the minerals within the water. So if I just poured filtered water through that, it's not going to do anything. I need to have minerals in the water.
So what's the water on the market that people should get?
Mountain Spring water.
Is that a brand?
No, there's different brands. I mean, you could go to the grocery store. I like Mountain Valley Mountain Spring water. It's in a glass bottle. You know, the reason why I got so passionate about water was because when I was pregnant with my daughter, I almost lost her, and it was because I had a severe mineral imbalance. And a lot of women that are pregnant get mineral imbalances, and they don't even know. I have thousands of people that message me, and they are like, I drink so much water and I still feel thirsty. Chronic dehydration is an epidemic. Most people listening to this show are chronically dehydrated and they don't even know. And when you're chronically dehydrated, down the road, you know, you're going to have so many issues.
Like what?
Oh, you turn 40 and it's like, oh, all of a sudden I'm gaining weight, or my hormones are out of balance, I'm not sleeping well, premature aging, you name it. Because water...
Decreased sex drive.
Decreased sex drive, absolutely. You want to have a charged sex drive, you need to be hydrated.
I'm writing all these down just because,
I love that you're taking notes. I love it.
Well, it's just very interesting, now that I'm getting old. I'm 50.
You're not old. You look amazing.
Oh, hush. 52 pretty soon turns into 62.
Right. Quickly, right?
Freaking like ridiculous. Then it turns into 72.
Yeah.
And I think nowadays, with modern medicine or modern wellness, not medicine. I'm not real keen on pharmaceuticals.
Right.
But modern wellness, I'll say. I think people can live in, up to 90 to 100, no problem nowadays.
Absolutely.
Even though I think the average is 78 right now.
It's not the age that matters, it's the quality of life.
Hey, there's another bomb. Yeah, so that's why I'm starting to pay attention. I wish I did it, when I was 30, I might look 30 still.
Oh, that's okay. We can reverse that.
Well, that's what I'm looking for. I want to give the listeners the ability to start understanding, look, you're going to gain weight. You're going to get less sleep, and sleep's important. You're going to start prematurely aging your body and your skin and your joints.
Listen, most people are chronically dehydrated. You think about these little toddlers in preschool, and what do they give them? A little cookie and a little Dixie cup of apple juice. You pick up your kid, and that's all they've had throughout the day. They didn't drink any water. People are chronically dehydrated from the time they're born. Well, usually if they're drinking their mother's breast milk, they're very hydrated and healthy. But then after that, people are not getting enough water. They're not getting enough natural sunlight. They're sitting under artificial lights. They're not letting their feet touch the ground. Kids are in shoes with, plastic rubber soles.
What's your thing on grounding?
Grounding is essential because we need that charge from the earth, that magnetism, in order to help that. Our bodies are electric. We're bioelectric, and we need to charge ourselves up. Just like you plug in your cell phone at night, you need to plug those cells and charge them to the earth.
And you just go barefoot onto the ground.
On the ground.
Doesn't matter where you are.
Well, it does matter because asphalt is an unnatural surface that...
Well, you want earth.
You want earth. Yeah, you want earth.
So can you just stand, or do you have to walk?
No, standing's fine too. Sitting on the lawn, like you're going to do some work on your computer, get your computer outside, sit in the sunlight, put your feet in the earth, and you're going to feel so much better.
Do people think that you're like a new-aged hippie type?
I don't think so, because now there's so much research, and this is stuff that we can verify and quantify now, and before it was very esoteric, before we could quantify it. But now with quantum physics and quantum mechanics and understanding things at the subatomic level, we're able to see that these things have a dramatic impact on our health.
If I'm an entrepreneur trying to run a business and I'm working 18 hours a day, am I affected if I'm not properly hydrated?
Absolutely.
And I'm not talking about a cellular level. I'm talking about at a noticeable level.
Yeah.
Meaning, if I just started drinking more water, I would feel 1,000 times better, have more energy, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, if the brain's even 2% dehydrated, you're going to have cognitive, and your brain is going to be inhibited. You're going to have cognitive inhibition, and it's not just like we said, drinking water though. Drinking an adequate amount of water is important, but getting outside, watching the sunrise, grounding to the earth, moving your body so that water can move through the tissues and touch all your fascia. They've done studies on fascia, on living tissue, and you can see that there's water droplets on the fascia. So it's important that we move our bodies. That's why I say playtime. I have these 9 pillars of health, and creative playtime is one of my 9 pillars. Get out and play. When you were a kid, what'd you do? You just were creative, and you played, and you moved, and that keeps us healthy, keeps us alive.
Let's cover those 9 pillars real quick.
Yeah.
What's the first one?
So the first one's hydration.
Obviously.
Yeah.
That's the most important one in your mind. Everything about you is hydrate.
Yeah, I'm hydrated.
So if I ground and I drink this living water with nothing else, what do I feel? Do I feel more energy?
If you just started to ground to the earth and drink living water, you're absolutely going to feel more energy. You're going to feel that vitality. You're going to feel charged. Your brain is going to feel different. Your neurochemistry is going to be different. You're going to feel alive. And I think a lot of people that are feeling depressed, they're feeling anxious, if they could just hydrate, and I mean drinking more water, grounding to the earth, getting sunlight, getting sleep, getting nutrition, getting minerals, they're going to feel 100 times better.
Automatically.
100 times better. Like, don't go to your doctor and ask for some pain medication. I'm not an MD, so I can't say, if you should do that or not. But this is my personal opinion. That just go outside, take a walk, drink some mountain spring water.
Barefoot.
Yeah.
Now, that's hydrate. What's the second pillar?
Minerals.
So minerals. What are the minerals we're lacking, and which one should we go focus on?
I love that question because there's 78 trace elements. Actually, there's 74 that our body needs, but our blood plasma should be identical to the plasma in the ocean. So Rene Quinton in the late 1900s discovered that our blood plasma, the ratio of minerals and the exact minerals that are in the ocean are in our blood's plasma.
Now, you think that's a coincidence?
It's not. Absolutely not.
Okay, so wouldn't that kind of lend to the old evolution theory?
Well, I don't know.
Like we came from the ocean.
We did, and I think in the Bible it also says that God created the heavens and the earth first, So it's all there. That's original. That's where we originated from. Yes, we evolved from the ocean.
Interesting. And I'll tell you, one time I forget what drug it was, but I was taking drugs on the beach.
Yeah.
I think it was mushrooms. And it felt like the beach was pulling me into it. It was the craziest feeling. I'm like, dude, this is where we came from. This is where we originated, and it was drawing me back in.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Those negative ions.
Okay, so which minerals are people lacking? Like, what should I go out and buy? What I'm trying to do is get like a roadmap so people listening can say, okay, drink more water, get the Vortex if I can, get Mountain Valley spring water, go outside, ground.
Minerals. So my favorite minerals are Quinton minerals because those are the minerals that come from the ocean. It's cleansed, it's cold processed, and it has all 78 trace elements in perfect balance, the perfect ratio of what your blood plasma should be because it's coming from the ocean's plasma. You can get it at graceandparker.com. And it's Quinton, Quinton. Quinton minerals. Those are life-changing for me and life-changing for so many people. That I own a wellness center in San Diego and
the sanctuary,
and those Quinton minerals are the minerals that I would say if anybody comes in and they could only take one thing, I would say take these Quinton minerals.
So what about like vitamins, supplements? That's it.
I would say take if you could only take one thing, the Quinton minerals.
Damn.
Those are the building blocks for life, Brad. They're like we need these trace elements in order to build new cells for the electrical charge in our body to allow cellular communication to be effective. We need them. And the sad thing is that our commercial farming has depleted the soil of the minerals that we need. And even if you're getting organic biodynamic food, it's still not complete with all of the minerals that we need right now. And so we need to supplement with the Quinton minerals, trace elements from the ocean.
So I go buy those and I just take them once a day?
Yeah, so they have two different kinds. They have one called the hypertonic, and then one is called the isotonic. Rene Quinton called the isotonic version the medicine. That's the one that you put under your tongue. When I wake up in the morning, I pop one of the vials, put it under my tongue, hold it for a minute, allow it to penetrate the epithelial tissue, get into my bloodstream, and signal to all of my cells that I have all 78 trace elements, the building blocks for life. The hypertonic one is the one that I pop the vial open and put it into my mountain spring water. It's like a supplement, like this nutrient that you put into your water, and then I vortex my water.
So you have like super water.
I have a lab over there, yeah.
You have super water.
Oh my God, it's so much fun.
Do people come to your house just to drink your water?
They do.
Do you sell everybody on the value of water?
I don't need to sell them. It's like they just know. People know. They inherently know that they need to be hydrated. Every single human knows that.
How much hydration do we need? You always hear people say X amount for such body weight. What is the proper amount of water consumed? I always drink when I'm thirsty.
Yeah. Well,
that's it.
Here's the thing. It depends on your activity level. It depends on your microbiome in your gut. There's so many things that are going to be dependent on how much water you should drink. So you need to get intimate with your body. You need to really understand your body. And when you're hydrated, you're going to feel alive, energetic. Your skin's going to be supple. Your brain's going to be working at optimum level. Everything. You're going to be at the weight that you need to be. So I think that when you're hydrated, you'll just know.
Well, when I wake up, I always have a water next to my bed just to make sure that when I wake up, I drink at least one, what is it, a quart maybe?
Like 32 ounces?
Yeah. Bottles of water, they're about
Yeah.
that big.
That's
And I
good.
pound it.
That's good.
And it does kind of get me flowing for the day, and that's just regular old still dead water.
Yeah, well, because when you're sleeping at night, you're losing a lot of water through respiration. So that's good to rehydrate in the morning. My favorite thing to do, a lot of people run for the coffee machine in the morning, but my favorite thing to do is take free hydrogen. So I have these hydrogen tablets. I put them in a glass, add 4 ounces of water and 1 hypertonic Quinton to it. That's the elixir of life, man. That gives you so much energy because free hydrogen helps modulate inflammation in the body. It helps with so many metabolic processes that when you take it, you feel activated, you feel alive, you feel charged. Most people that take that elixir, they don't feel like they need a coffee.
So if you have friends that are coffee drinkers, smoking cigars, shit like that, do you preach to them or do you just say whatever?
No, why? No, people continue your life. Do what you want to do. I mean, I say like don't take the fun out of life, but just make sure you're hydrated and then you can still do the things that you want to do, but you're going to I don't know, your body once you get more in touch with your body, you get more intimate with feeling alive and feeling good. Then you kind of don't want to put low vibrational things into your body. I don't crave toxic food. I don't crave low vibrational food or low vibrational water. I don't even drink alcohol. I don't crave it because I know how I feel when I'm hydrated. I know how I feel when my chemistry's in balance. And I know how I feel when it's not. And I don't want to feel the not balanced way.
Have you ever been hungover?
One time.
How'd it feel?
One time when I was 19, I think I had 2 glasses of champagne and I never drank again.
That was it?
Yeah, I just didn't want it anymore.
Well, man, I'll tell you, there's people all over the world that wish that was all they've done. But when you wake up with a hangover, from what I was told from a doctor, it's literally your cells are so dehydrated. That's what gives you the headache and that feeling. Mm-hmm. And so, there's something to the hydration of the body. How long can you survive without water?
That also depends on the person. People are doing these dry fasts now for 7 days. I have a friend.
What do you mean? What do you mean? You'll die.
No, you won't die.
You can't survive without water for 7 days.
No, you can. People are.
Sure?
I have a friend that's a breatharian.
Hold on. How long can you survive without water? You can survive without water, but not for long. The average human can hold out for 3 to 5 days without a sip of water, but dehydration will set in and lead to all sorts of problems: confusion, lethargy, rapid heartbeat, well before then.
I have a friend who just did a 7-day dry fast.
When you say dry, they got to be
No water. Not one drop of water.
Any liquids, though?
No liquids. Nothing in his mouth.
Well, why do people say they'll do this then?
I don't know. There's a lot of things that you can Google, Brad, and it's like not true.
Have you ever went on a 7-day dry fast?
No, I have not.
Would you ever?
I don't feel called to do that. I don't think I need to do that.
Not only that, it would go against your whole hydration theory.
No, I mean, there's a lot of things that are beneficial for dry fasting, cell autophagy, and it can be good, but if you're going to do it a dry fast for that long, I would say you need to be under medical supervision. It's not something you just do at home, because most people are not healthy and they start doing stuff like that, and they are going to have some serious Herxheimer.
What's that?
It's just when your body starts to detox too fast, and your lymphatic system can't release the toxins, and so it recirculates back into your blood, and you just feel like crap.
So the Sanctuary, which is your little wellness place, it's boutique-y, yeah.
Yes, it's a luxury retreat, luxury wellness center, and then we added a Hydrate center to it. My cousin Steve Martinez, he came on board, and we have just upped the game there. Now we're doing peptide therapy, hormone therapy, anything that has to do with, I don't like the word anti-aging, but aging better. Aging so that your age is just a number. You don't have to look your age. You don't have to feel your age. It's literally just a number.
What do you think the difference between someone properly hydrated versus someone not, just skin-wise? Can you tell a big difference?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I can tell a big difference in my skin when I'm not hydrated.
How long do you think it takes?
Right away. I mean, hours. It could just be hours. You go on an airplane and you get off and your skin looks different.
Really?
Yeah.
That quick?
Yeah.
So if you were getting on camera, would you, like if you were an actress getting on camera, would you, drink a lot of water before the camera turned on?
Yeah, I would be drinking water. I'd be using mist on my face. I'd be moving. I'd be doing facial exercises to move the water, move the lymphatic, move the blood, get everything. Movement is important. We don't want pooling or stagnation. That is dehydrating, and it makes us look aged as well.
Now, folks, if you're listening to this thinking, man, she knows a lot about this stuff, you can check it out, tracyduhs.com. Your whole thing's there.
Yeah.
Plus the things that you recommend, because you're out recommending a lot of things to a lot of people. That's what the podcast is about?
The podcast is about educating people about hydration. The Hydrate life. Those water molecules, how we can get them working for us.
And you get paid by, like, hotels to go into set up their wellness facilities, make sure everybody's at the spa doing wonderful.
Yeah.
So how did you get known for all this?
Wow, that's a good question. How did I get known for it? I don't really know. Just people started reaching out to me. Maybe God's divine intervention.
Did you have like a celebrity use you and say something or anything?
We have many A-list celebrities that come to our wellness center. So maybe, just knowing people and them talking to other people, and just small, like, it's a small world,
If I book a 3-day at your wellness center, do I see other people while I'm there?
It depends.
So like if Angelina and Brad Pitt were there, would I run into them?
I don't think they'd be coming together right now.
Not now, no. But would I run into the celebrities that were there?
It depends, because some of the celebrities that come just want it all to themselves, and they have their security with them, and we shut everything down, and it's just for them. Or we do a retreat. If you're not wanting to spend as much money, we'll have up to 8 people there. But it's still boutique-y. It's only 8 people, 3 days, $4,900. And you're getting a top-to-bottom mind, body, spirit reset.
When you walk out of there, what do people say?
Their lives are changed, because they know what it feels like to feel good, and they have the information that they need in order to go on with the rest of their life. It's like setting the tone for them. You know, once you feel amazing, you're like, okay, how can I incorporate this into my everyday life afterwards?
Do you have like a schedule, or I wish you just had this regiment that you could like either give me or sell me or tell me.
A regimen to getting hydrated?
Just like, Brad, from now on, do this every morning to where people can do it. Like you're talking about, hydrogen pills mixed with freaking witch water or whatever it's called. How can someone listen to this just start doing better tomorrow?
Are we talking to just like the average American that's just out there? All right. So the average American to start doing better tomorrow, I would say here's what you do. Here's the regimen. Set your alarm.
I can't turn it off. I've tried. I'm like airplane mode, do not disturb. It's just, I don't know.
That's fine.
Sorry. Keep going.
I love it.
What's the regimen?
Set your alarm and wake up with the sun. Watch the sunrise. The first 15 minutes of the sun coming up is going to set your circadian rhythm. It's going to signal to your cells, giving them the nutrients that they need. The sun, the full spectrum of light, is giving your body nutrition that it needs, that is essential for aging well, for mental health, for physical health, for hydration. So when you wake up, the first 15 minutes of the sun rising, you're not getting that thermal heat, but you're getting the full spectrum of light. Open your mouth up. Let the light get into the epithelial tissue of your mouth.
Do you do that? If I were to be your neighbor, would I look across and see you going?
Yeah, I open my mouth up. Like if you don't have any neighbors that can see, being naked is even better. Like so that because your skin has receptors on it, and so it's seeing I try to like have my clothes not on. The sun's gonna.
Do you have neighbors?
I do, but hopefully they're not looking.
So every morning, are you up doing that?
Not every morning, but most mornings, yes.
Okay, so wake up, watch the sun.
Watch the sun.
Preferably naked with your mouth open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then, if you can, it's really easy to get hydrogen tablets. It's not hard. You can, GraysonParker.com. We have the hydrogen tablets there. You can get the hydrogen tablet, put it in a glass, get the hypertonic Quinton, pop it open, put the hydrogen and the Quinton together with 4 ounces of water. Now that hydrogen tablet's going to start to dissolve. And the juice, the real potent medicine is the gas coming off. So you're going to see it dissolving, and as soon as it dissolves, you want to shoot it right away. You're going to feel alive. Just doing those 2 things. I would say when you're waking up watching the sunrise, if you can be grounding at the same time, like have your shoes off and you're standing on your lawn or the dirt or wherever you can, so that you're charging your cells, you're getting the nutrients from the light, and then you go downstairs and you take the hydrogen tablets and the Quinton and the water, you shoot that. Just do those 3 things, and everyone's going to start feeling amazing just from that. There's so many other things we can do. If you go to my Instagram page, you're going to see that I have the 9 pillars of health, and I break it down. And then if you listen to my podcast, Hydrate, every week we talk about something new. It's a lifestyle, right? So we're learning new tips. This isn't something that you can just learn in one show and go, okay, I know everything. I mean, we could talk about water for the rest of our lives and never even hit the tip of the iceberg, but start with those 3 things that I just said. You're going to feel amazing, and then you're going to go, what's next? I want more.
What's next for you?
What's next for me in health and wellness? Or
yeah, like what are you trying to accomplish in life?
Oh, in life, I desire that before I die, I want to make sure every single human on this planet has access to clean drinking water. It's a basic human right. And before I die, every single person will have access to that. When I went to Guatemala and started my journey there, many children were dying because they didn't have access to clean drinking water. Those children and their parents had to walk 5 miles just to get water that was contaminated.
So, out of curiosity, why would you walk 5 miles? Why wouldn't you just pick your ass up, move your family next to the water?
No idea. That's a really great question. I don't know, but That was the village that we were in, and that was what it was.
Where's the fresh moving water in Guatemala? It's got to be somewhere.
It wasn't near where these people were living in this indigenous village. It was contaminated, still sitting water that they would boil, but many of the children had parasites and giardia, and their lifespan was really short. And it opened my eyes up to the fact of how blessed we are to live in a country where we can open up the tap and we're probably not going to die from the water we're drinking immediately. But, to have this access is such a privilege. And I don't think that I could live knowing that I know this and didn't try to spend my life helping make that possible.
Well, that's nice of you. How can people help you do that?
How can people help me do that? Well, they can go to my page, and if they're interested in helping, please reach out to me, because we are putting together a team, and I'm reaching out to. There's many different groups around the world that are doing this, and what I desire is to bring all these groups together so we can work together. I'm not the one that's going to change the world alone. It's us as a group, as a community. A desire between all of us and a group effort. So if anyone's excited about that as well, please reach out to me, tracyduhs.com.
There you have it, folks. Now, I was going to finish the 9 pillars, but they can find those on your Instagram page.
Yeah, they can go to my Instagram page.
Okay, and your book's dropping when?
Oh, you're dropping a bomb right now. Let's see. So it's supposed to drop early April.
And you can pre-order it now by going to tracyduhs.com.
That's right.
What's it about? Just how to stay hydrated?
No, it's about the Hydrate life. Just like, what is that? And I have a bunch of elixirs in there because I love to make these high vibrational drinks that make you feel good, look good, they taste amazing. And so I just put the recipes for those drinks in there and also share how you can be hydrated. I walk through the 9 pillars of health. I walk through my story, lifestyle, and really, Brad, it's about making it fun. If it's not fun, you're not going to do it, right? So how do we make hydration fun? How do we understand hydration? We've been done an injustice by being told this information that it's like, oh, drink 8 glasses of water a day. I mean, that's not the whole story. There's so much more to the story.
Well, what if I mean, it's better than not drinking 8 glasses, yeah?
It is better than not drinking, but it also depends what kind of water you're drinking. I mean, yeah, it's better than not drinking anything. Your body's going to filter it, but it's a lot on your kidneys, your liver, your organs to have to remove those toxins, the chemical contamination from the water. There's so much with water. We've got the chemistry of the water, the physics of the water, the bioenergetics of the water, and we want to make sure we're addressing all of those aspects. And that's what we talk about in the Hydrate podcast, is really helping you understand water at a different level.
Man, I'll tell you, I didn't know there was so much about water. But I know that I need to drink more.
Yeah.
I think, again, maybe some cognitive decline would be a understatement. I used to be able to think of words like they're going out of style, and now sometimes I'm like, what was that word? It may be because I'm dehydrated.
You might be.
How do you know if you're dehydrated?
You might be. Well, there's many ways to know if you're dehydrated, but you can just even press on your hand, right? And you know how it turns white? You'll see. I mean, within 2 to 3 seconds, your color should come back. If it stays white longer than that, you're definitely dehydrated. Or you can pinch your skin and see if it bounces right back. There's a lot of ways. We have machines at our clinic that test for hydration in the body.
Well, folks, I wish you all pick up some water and drink it. Mountain Spring water.
No more filtered water.
You need to get your own water.
If they could just learn one thing from this show, quit the filtered water. Get Mountain Spring or artesian water. That's the best place to start.
In glass.
In glass.
And you can get that at any store.
Yeah.
Does it cost any more?
Yes, it will cost you a little more because if you think about it, shipping glass it takes a little more effort.
Okay, and then before we go, I want to talk about deuterium.
Oh, okay.
Now, what's up with deuterium?
Hydrogen's evil twin.
Yeah.
So deuterium is the heavy isotope of hydrogen. It weighs twice the amount that hydrogen weighs. And when you're drinking water, you may not know this, but you're not just drinking H2O. You're drinking H2O, D2O, and HDO molecules. Most of it is H2O molecules, but there are some D2O and HDO molecules in that water, and the D is for deuterium. And deuterium, when it gets into your body, it actually it breaks the nanomotors in your mitochondria. And when that happens, you're having mitochondrial death. And when your mitochondria die, what happens? You're aging faster, you're dying faster. So deuterium is killing us. It's aging us.
Now, how is that in all of our water right now?
Yeah, it's in all of our water.
So how do we
It's
get
in
it
your
out?
food too, because when you're eating, that food was, made from the water that it grew from. Well, there's this distillation process that is done, and it's only being done well in Russia and China. They're doing it now. So I buy the deuterium depleted water from Russia right now, but I think that plant, there's only like enough for maybe like 20,000 people on the planet to be able to drink it right now. So it's not something that's mainstream, not something that everyone can do. But I will tell you, some of the most top athletes that you think, oh, why is this guy older and he's still top of his game? These guys are drinking deuterium depleted water.
You think that's going to become...
This is going to be something you're going to hear a lot about in the next probably 5 years. Everyone's going to know what deuterium depleted water is.
And right now, hardly anyone does.
Nobody really knows.
How did you learn?
Well, this is what I do. This is my life.
Every day you're looking and thinking and searching and talking and discussing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a nerd at heart, Brad. I love science. I love chemistry. I love physics. I love quantum physics. I would rather be reading a book or learning than out at a party or hanging out with people. I'm kind of a nerd.
Folks, thanks for her nerdness. We get information that's vetted, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And proven, and you're getting it from dropping bombs. Tracy, first of all, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Man, that was awesome. I love the whole hydration theory. I got to start getting it done. I'm going to get your Vortex. And by the way, anybody that wants any of the stuff you talked about, tracyduhs.com has it all?
So the store where everything is graceandparker.com.
Graceandparker.com. You can get the hydrogen tabs. You can get the Quintons. You can get the Vortex.
Yep.
You can subscribe to your podcast.
Subscribe to my podcast. You can subscribe to Hydrate. The podcast is Hydrate, and it's on all podcast platforms, Apple, anything.
Spotify.
Anywhere you can get podcasts.
And then if you guys want a 3-day getaway to reset everything, man, hit her up at the Sanctuary.
Yes, the Sanctuary. And that website is comealive.us. Because you're going to come alive when you come there.
Comealive.us, and hopefully Brad and Angelina might not be there.
Yeah, they're not going to be there together. That's for sure.
Anyway, folks, as always, make sure you share this out. Someone's out there depleted and dehydrated and too much deuterium. You sharing this might change their life. And until next time, keep it real.
Dropping bombs with the real Bradley. Subscribe now.